Good evening, Nawaz. So how are you?
Hi Sanya, how are you? I'm good. Tell me.
I have a couple questions. Why did you choose surgical oncology?
Surgical Oncology. So I did my MS from Madurai Medical College. Basically, Madurai is in Tamil Nadu. So back when I did my MS, surgical oncology used to be a hot field. I mean, even now it is, but back then it was a really hot field. So everyone who did MS from Madurai Medical College, I think almost 80% of my batch wanted to do surgical oncology. So that's where the love for surgical oncology began.
That's really nice, sir. Were there any particular professors or mentors who you particularly admire or think have played a significant part in your journey?
Oh, plenty. I mean, if you ask me about mentors, right from my MS days, I had my first boss, Dr. Selva Chidambaram. He was the one who actually taught me to be a safe surgeon, someone who taught me the importance of the small things in surgery. Then the boss of surgical oncology, Dr. Ramesh, he was the one who actually really made me fall in love with surgical oncology. And then I got to TMH. TMH had a lot of good mentors, but if you have to like really take few names, I have three names. I had Dr. Pratmesh Pai, Dr. Ashwin D'Souza, and my mentor, Dr. Shailesh Rikande, who's the man behind my love for pancreas. Come in.
That's really nice, sir. What MBBS subjects did you find most challenging and why?
Oh, okay. So this is really funny. Being a surgeon, I really struggled in anatomy. I liked other fields. I mean, I liked physiology. Funnily, anatomy is the one I really struggled with because I don't know. I really feel that I learned all my anatomy on the surgical fields rather than on the cadavers. So anatomy is the one I had really trouble with. But funnily, I think I am in a field where anatomy is everything now.
That's lovely.
Yeah, you asked.
Okay, so were you involved in any student organizations or leadership roles, or how do you think they helped in your character and career growth?
Unfortunately, no. So basically, I grew up in a village. So I did my UG from KMC Mangalore. So I came to Mangalore a very shy kid. So I wasn't much into leadership roles and all. But I feel it's really important. I mean, one of the things I find so impressive here is the fact that you guys have these organized student organizations. I've been a big fan of Cutting Edge. I've been associated with Cutting Edge in the past. I got a lot of good friends in Cutting Edge. I feel it's very important. I think that is one of the reasons that make KMC one of the top colleges in the country, because it doesn't just make you into doctors. It teaches you to be leaders, and I really believe that that is one thing that really makes a difference when you go out in the outside world. It makes you world ready, I feel. Yes.
That's wonderful, sir. What's the most bizarre medical myths or misconception you've had to correct for a patient?
Oh, there are plenty. So the one thing that I don't know why that is so prevalent. Patients, for some reason, believe that cancer has genders. So they feel that there's a male cancer, there's a female cancer, and the general belief is that female cancers are more aggressive. So I get this question the moment I tell them that you have cancer, I get asked, sir, is it a female cancer or a male cancer? That's one thing. Second is this thing about, I think this is there in a lot of social media influencers also. They feel that sugar feeds cancer. So the moment you're diagnosed with cancer, you're supposed to cut down on sugar. For some reason, they feel that sugar feeds on cancer. There are a lot more, unfortunately, we are a country who actually believe more in pseudoscience than doctors. So we are bound to come across these myths, but I think it's on us to patiently correct all these myths.
That's great. It's clarified now. Is there any advice you would give to your old MBBS self?
Okay. So I would say take one day at a time. I would say be faithful in the small things. This is a really nice phrase I got from this book I read recently called The Covenant of Water. Be faithful in the small things. So what it says is, when you're in an impressionable age, try to do the small things right, because these are the small things that add up. So like if I have to speak in terms of surgery, like when I'm a general surgeon, if I believe that individual single steps of the surgeries are not important, say incision's not important. There's a lot more to surgery. I mean, it's okay if I don't do the incisions properly, or if I don't hold the tissues properly with my left hand, or if I don't apply the right pressure with the cautery. But what I believe is, if you're not faithful in these small things, they add up, and if you're not being good, the final result is bad. So I feel what I would say to my former self is, be faithful in the small things, do the small things right, don't cut corners. Eventually, you will end up. I mean, good things will come, and they take time. So you can't be like in the first year of MBBS and suddenly start feeling like a cardiothoracic surgeon or a big shot neurosurgeon. Things will come with time. So do the small things right. Take it one day at a time. Good things will come. Yeah.
That's very thoughtful. What is a surprising aspect of your daily routine that students might not expect from a medical professional?
Okay. So I waste a lot of time on social media. When I go back home, I think if you look at my screen time, it's really scary. It's in hours. So I waste a lot of time on social media. Another thing I get is, when I'm preparing for a case, I'm generally told that, oh, you are a professor already, you still read. We do read. In fact, I mean, the higher you go, the more you need to read, the more you need to be updated. So I generally, like, whenever I have major cases which I don't do very routinely, I come and sit here in my OPD. I come in the evenings, I open the scans, I look into the scans. So we spend a lot of time preparing for cases. We spend a lot of time discussing cases with each other. So it's not like, you are a professor, you can just walk in and do any surgery. So yes, so that is one thing I keep getting a lot, that, oh, you still read. So we do still read, yes. So I play a lot of sports. So these are the things I do outside of my work hours. Yeah, coming. Guys, I've got a case. We'll do one thing. We'll meet after the case.
That's a really cool case, sir.
Thank you. I hope you all learned something from the case.
Yes, sir. I have a few more questions. Can we continue?
Come.
Okay. How do you incorporate your interests and hobbies into your busy professional life?
Busy professional life. I think the key is to make sure that your professional life is not too busy. So what I do is, I generally compartmentalize my life. So what I generally do is, when I as much as possible, when I go out of work, I try to make sure that work doesn't affect my outside life. So and it's all about priorities. And if you really like something, you'll always find time to do the things you like. Yeah. Come.
Makes sense, sir. How does working in a field as emotionally demanding as surgical oncology impact one's mental health?
Yeah, see, oncology is a mentally demanding field. So I feel, so basically, when I was a resident, so in medicine, when you are a resident, you generally work a lot more closely with the patient. You spend a lot more time with the patient. So it is a lot more emotionally demanding as a resident. But I feel after coming here, it is, in a way, it's good that you are able to detach yourself from the patient. As a consultant, you generally spend less time with the patient. That is one way that has helped me detach myself from the patient. But I think it's a thin line. You can't be too detached from the patient. You have to be sensitive about the patient. But in a field like oncology, you have to have some sort of detachment, because you can't be crying over a patient, because you have other patients you have to take care of.
Very insightful. What advice would you give students struggling to decide on their medical specialty, and what made you choose one in surgery?
I feel you have to have first-hand experience of the fields. By the time you finish your final year, I think you'll all have narrowed down your fields to one or two or three. Largely, you'll have some clarity as to if it should be surgical or medical. I believe you have to work in the field to really know if you like the field. Internship is a time where you get to really work closely in the field. But the problem these days is we have a lot of residents. So there's a lot of residents between you and the consultant. So you probably might not get that one-on-one interaction with the consultants. I believe we need mentors. I believe you all have to pick mentors. Work with them. If you really are interested in a field, work with them for a while. So if you're someone who's interested in surgery, if you're doubtful, come to me. I'll convince you all to take surgery. As far as the question of why I took surgery goes, I was always a medicine guy. I mean, even now I'm a bit of a nerd, a bit of an outlier for a surgeon. But I really loved my ENT postings internship. I did my internship from government Venlock Hospital. So we used to do a lot of earlobe repairs, and then again episiotomy, suturing, and gynec, and that's where I really love suturing. So I thought surgery is where my future lies, and I'm glad that I don't think I've made a better decision than that.
That's really beautiful. How do you ensure patients' emotional and psychological well being during treatment?
Okay. So I believe a lot of our fears, not just the patients, a lot of our fears stem from the unknown. What we don't know, we are more scared. So I believe that's the same with the patients. The key is to communicate with them every step of the way. Teach them surgery. Teach them surgery in the sense, teach them what you're going to do. Dumb it down to them. Take a pen and a paper, write down anatomy. You will be surprised at how smart patients are. They really understand. So what I do is I write down anatomy. I mean, if I'm doing a gastrectomy, I would draw. I would say that this is where the food comes from. This is where the food will go and enter, and I'm going to remove this portion of your stomach. So the moment you give that knowledge to them, when they know what they're facing, the fear automatically comes down. I believe the key is to communicate regularly and clearly. Everything and anything. I'm not saying that in case there's been a bit of a mess up from your team, you'll have to go and tell them that, yeah, we have messed up. You don't have to do that. But then you have to tell them that something has gone wrong and we are on it. We are going to take care of what's gone wrong. So that's what patients want to see intent. If they feel that a doctor is, he really cares, the intent is to help, it goes a long way in patient care. So that's one of the best ways to actually take care of patient anxiety. You done? I'll see you guys. Bye.
Hi, sir. We
Hi,
wanted
hi,
to
hi.
catch you in this element. Is it fine if I ask you a couple more questions?
Oh, there are more questions? Yeah, go ahead. Tell me.
Okay. What's your favorite sport to watch or play?
Okay, I grew up playing cricket, so it has to be cricket. So I played a lot of cricket. That's all I did in the place I grew up in. So I follow a lot of cricket, and I'll play. I still play a lot. I'm still actively playing cricket. So cricket has to be the answer to that.
Right, sir. Do you have a memory particularly you cherish as an avid cricket fan?
Hmm. I think that has to be the NatWest final. I don't remember the year. I was in mbbs back then. I think England had scored 326. Back then, 300s were like really big scores. And this was a big final. And we started well, but unfortunately, we lost Tendulkar, Ganguly, and we were soon 146 for 5. And that's when Yuvraj and Kaif came in and played a brilliant partnership. And we actually won against all odds. And I think that has to be my most cherished cricket memory. And of course, the recent matches again, the final we won recently, and an India-Pakistan match in the last T20 World Cup also.
It's always such a thrill. What's your favorite way to spend a weekend?
Weekends. Saturdays, I generally go out, catch some quality time with my friends, party. Sunday mornings are for rounds. Then I take my team out for a breakfast. We generally go to Hadika or someplace, plan the week ahead, discuss the week that has gone by. And I generally go to the beach. I do a beach drive, come back and sleep the hangover off. And then plan the next week. I generally have major surgeries on Mondays. So Sunday evenings is where Mondays start for me. So I start Monday surgeries by planning on Sunday evening. So busy weekend, but yeah, I like my weekends. Yeah.
Sounds very peaceful. What's one thing on your bucket list that you would like to complete this year?
This year, I don't think I'll be able to finish it, but I'm hoping to be able to write a book someday. But the lazy as I am, I don't think I'll ever get around to writing it. But yes, that is one book. That is one thing that's really there on my bucket list to be able to write a book someday.
Well, we're all waiting for that. So, what's the best part about living in Manipal?
I was in Mumbai for 4 years. Busy city, busy life. But I think Manipal that way is a great place to be. Small town, clean air. You have a lot of, lot of time for yourself. I have a lot of time after my work hours. So it's not like a city where you have to spend a lot of time in commuting. It's a 5-minute drive from work and to work. So there's a lot of time outside of work in Manipal, I feel.
Okay. So, what's the best non-medical book that you have read?
Okay, so you can't ask a book lover to pick one book. So I'm going to give you a bit of a list here. You said non-medical book, so it can be fiction. So fiction, I would say recently I read this book called The Covenant of Water. Great book. Uh, Another fiction would be A Man Called Ove. There's a book called Less. Great book. Uh, then the classics, of course, Lord of the Rings, and I'm a big fan of the fantasy genre. And if you ask me non-fiction, it has to be *Sapiens*. That's my all-time favorite book. Then there's this book called *The Greatest Show on Earth* by Richard Dawkins. It's about evolution, and I'm a big space fan, so I read a lot of space-related books. Cosmos has to be there on the top of the list. And then there is Bill Bryson. He's a great writer as well. So I would say I would put a short history of nearly everything in the list as well.
That's amazing, sir. Since you're such an avid reader, I'll ask you another one. What non-medical book would you want to recommend to medical students?
Non-medical book. I feel we all should read The Greatest Show on Earth, because Richard Dawkins makes a very good case for evolution against what we are generally taught as kids. The religious teachings generally say it's all creationism, but Richard Dawkins in his book The Greatest Show on Earth, it's a brilliant book. I think you all should read it. It will really improve your scientific temper. And *Sapiens* is another book I would really highly rate and highly suggest to people.
Thank you, sir. What does an average day in your life look like?
I wake up, try to wake up early. It's an hour of gym in the morning, work, rounds. It's either OT or OPDs. So once I'm back, I come back by around 5. I think I waste around 2 hours on social media. And then it's running. I mean, I've actually taken to running off late, started from this year. So running is another thing I'm into now these days. So that also takes a part of my life, part of my day. And then end the day by probably reading a book.
Sounds very peaceful, sir. Okay, so the last question. What's something you're looking forward to?
Looking forward to this year. So there's this exciting trip coming up for me. We are going to UK to play cricket. So I did my training, I said, from Tata Memorial, right, Mumbai. So Mumbai has a very strong cricket culture. So we used to play for the Doctors Cricket League. So we used to have weekly matches. So we have a core group of doctors who play cricket in Mumbai. So this year we are going to UK in August. We are playing with some doctors teams from UK. So I'm really looking forward to it. So that's something which it's in the next month. So that's something I'm really looking forward to this year.
That was the last question. Thank you so much for answering.
Are we done? Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
Sure, I'll see you then. I've got 5 kilometers to run.